We are now joined by Alabama head coach Nick Saban, defensive player of the game, Da'Ron Payne, offensive player of the game, Tua Tagovailoa. Coach, we'll start with an opening statement from you.
Well, obviously, this is a fantastic win, a fantastic night for the University of Alabama. I couldn't be prouder of a group of players, especially the resiliency they showed in the game, getting behind, not playing very well in the first half, kept clawing back in the second half, and even after we missed the field goal to win it in regulation, still showed resiliency to overcome hard and made some great plays. We needed a spark on offense. Tua certainly gave us that and did a really good job. And defense stepped up when they had to. We didn't do very well on third down in the first half, which really hurt us, but this is a great win. It's a great team win. Somebody tried to give me a game ball. I don't think you could give anybody a game ball. It has to be a team ball, and that's exactly what we'll do with it. You know, when we lost last year on the last play of the game, we said don't waste the failing is the lesson that we all wanted to learn. And I think the resiliency that this team has shown all year long certainly proves that they sort of learned something from that, and couldn't be prouder of a bunch of coaches and a bunch of players and the people in our organization who contribute to the success of the University of Alabama.
As a reminder, we will take questions for Coach first. We'll start over here to our left.
Nick, Pat 40 from Yahoo Sports. Could you just go through the decision to change quarterbacks at halftime, and was there any reticence to do so?
No, I felt like that, you know, we've had this in our mind that if we were struggling offensively, that we would give Tua an opportunity, even in the last game. And no disrespect to Jalen, but the real thought is, you know, we came into the game thinking that we were going to run the ball and be able to run quarterback runs, which we made a couple of explosive plays on. But just without the absence of a passing game and being able to make explosive plays and be able to convert on third down, I just didn't feel like we could run the ball well enough, and I thought Tua would give us a better chance and a spark, which he certainly did. And you know, I couldn't be prouder of him taking advantage of the opportunity. We have total confidence in him. We played him a lot in a lot of games this year, and he did very well, and he certainly did a great job tonight.
Go back over here, right to our left, sort of in the middle.
Lindsay Schnell, USA Today. Nick, after Tua threw that pick, he came over on the sideline, put his arm around you, and looked like he said, "Coach, it's okay. I'll get it back." I wondered if you could walk us through that, and then were you surprised at his moxie?
Well, the issue is we missed a signal. In other words, everybody was running a running play, and he thought it was a passing play. So it causes a problem when all the receivers are blocking instead of running a pass route, and then it sort of quadruples the problem when a quarterback throws it to him anyway. But we learn from those things, right?
Yes, sir.
And he was just reassuring me that he would learn from it.
We're going to take our next question over here on the aisle.
Hi, Coach. Mark Tracy from the New York Times. Two-parter very quickly. First, when it's like a game like this, first half not playing so well, the field goal missed at the end of regulation, it looks like it's hard. I mean, what does that feel like in the moment?
Well, it is hard. We knew it would be a hard game. Georgia's got a great team. They did a great job. They had a good plan against our defense. Their quarterback did a really good job of, you know, checking some plays and hitting some passes, whether it was split safeties or middle of the field. So we were struggling a little bit in the first half defensively. But, you know, if you can't overcome hard, you're never going to have any great victories in your life. So that's what our players know. We try to teach them to play the next play and show resiliency and make the next play. So that's exactly what we did. And we got them stopped to a field goal in overtime and took advantage of the opportunity, even though Tua probably couldn't have thrown that pass if I could have got a hold of him after he took the sack, but I couldn't get out there fast enough.
partially answered my second question, but I guess you really have nothing left to prove. I mean, however many championships it is at this point. What keeps you coming back through hard games? Obviously, some of them end well, but lots of them end well. But what keeps you coming back year after year?
Well, it's not just about winning a championship. I mean, every team, you want to do the best job you can, and every team wants to be successful. And as a coach, you want to see your team reach their full potential. But as a college coach, and the thing that I like about college coaching is you have an opportunity to affect people. You have an opportunity to help players be more successful in life because they're involved in the program, whether it's personal development, academic support, graduating from school, learning lessons. The message to the team tonight after this game was, I hope you take something from this game and the resiliency that you showed in this game, and it helps you be more successful in life. So it's not just about winning a championship. I mean, I know that's what you all write about and what you talk about and all that. And we like winning, and we hate losing. But there's more to it than that.
In the interest of time, we are going to open it up for questions for all three, but we'll take our next one from right over here on the right.
Coach, Steve Moulton, 97.7 The Zone out of Huntsville, Alabama. I noticed after the game you had a moment with Anthony Jennings. He was up on the stage as well. Was wondering if you could walk through that moment and what it was like to get him up on the stage to enjoy the celebration as well.
Well, Anthony's been a great leader on our team, had a fabulous game against Clemson, had as many production points as any player had all year, got hurt late in the game with 2 minutes to go in the game. And the guy's such a great competitor and was such a big part of the team. And the players, it was really important to our players that he got here today because he's been in the hospital for quite some time. So it was just great to see him. He was so happy for everyone. I think he's happy with the success that he had this year, and he knows that in a couple months, he'll be able to come back and contribute to the team again.
Take our next question over here on the far left aisle.
Nick Danuthman from the All-American. Alex Leatherwood, Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, they also joined too and having some really great performances tonight. What is it about this freshman class that has allowed them to excel and set them apart?
Well, Najee Harris played really well. Jerry Jeudy made a nice catch at the end. So this was, I think, one of our best recruiting classes, this freshman class from last year, especially with offensive talent. So, you know, that's something that we have to build on in this year's recruiting and continue to build on because we're going to lose a lot of good players who are seniors, probably have several players go out for the draft. So our team turns over a little quicker, so it creates a lot of opportunity for younger players to get a chance to play, and those guys played a lot this year and contributed a lot to our success.
Go back here in the middle on the aisle.
Nick and Tua, I guess this question's for both. Nick, you said you couldn't get out there fast enough for the sack, but what was your vantage point? And impressed with the execution Tua made on the game-winning touchdown. And same with you, Tua. Just could you walk us through that touchdown pass a little bit and what you saw?
I mean, we called four verticals on that play. After the sack, we just got up, just took it to the next play. And throughout that process, we got the ball. It looked like they were running two trap. The corner trapped on that single receiver side, and I held the safety in the middle as the over was coming. And I looked back out, and he was wide open. Smitty was wide open, so I hit him, and here we are now, thank God.
Take our next question right over here on the left-hand side.
Nick, can you speak to the improbability of leaning on this many freshmen this late in the season with this much at stake? I mean, you've been doing this a long time. I don't remember you winning a game quite like this.
Well, no, I don't think we ever have. But a lot of those guys were in spring practice last year. A lot of those guys are really mature for their age. And they were ready to make contribution. And they certainly did a fantastic job for us this year. There's no doubt about that. We had, I think one of the things that makes me most proud of this team is, and I'm surprised nobody asked it, we've never had this many games missed by starters in a season, ever. And to be able to overcome that with the next guy up whoever it was, to go out there and play the way they played together as a group, and trusted and believed in each other. And I think that respect and trust is something that's really important to have in a good team, and that's something this team had.
As a reminder, this is an opportunity to ask questions for coach and players. We'll go next right here in the middle section.
Nancy Armour with USA Today Sports. This is for Tua. Tua, you've played in games before, but most of the time it's been when the games were already in hand. What was that like to come in with Alabama trailing, and at what point did you feel like, I've got this?
I mean, we practice throughout, the year. We go in with the ones sometimes. Us freshmen, we're going with the ones sometimes. We trade reps with the ones. We go in with the twos, and I think preparation leading up to this point has been the key thing, with our offensive coaches helping us throughout the process, and just building the trust within each other, from the O-line to the receivers, creating a bond with each other. I think that's helped us, build confidence coming into this game to where, if you gotta go in, if your number is called, then, you got to do what you got to do to give the team the best placement, or how should I say this? You give the team the best opportunity to win the game.
We're going to go back up on the riser in the back.
Greg Collier, Action Sports and News. Coach Saban, 2 seasons ago, we saw you make a fantastic decision to do an onside kick, and it worked for you. Today, we see the change in quarterback, and it worked. Is this just part of the excellence that you were speaking about earlier this week?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I think that to a large degree, I trust players that do things the right way, players who prepare the right way, practice the right way. They're dependable. We try to create a culture of accountability for our players so that they can be successful personally, academically, and athletically. And when players respond to that and do it, I have total faith, trust, and confidence to put them out there. And so I have that in Tua, and I certainly have had it in Da'Ron. He played when he was a freshman, too. And he's the most articulate nose guard in the country if you guys had asked him a question.
Next question back over here on our left.
This question's for Tua again. Joe Goodman with AL.com. Hawaii to Alabama is a long way, distance-wise, culturally. What's that experience been like for you this first year? Have you ever been homesick at any point? Just kind of sum it up.
I do get homesick at times. I miss my family back home, although, my parents are here. I'm talking about, my dad's siblings. But, I mean, I don't know how Coach Saban found me all the way in Hawaii from Alabama, so I just thank God he found me, and, we're here right now. I don't know. The biggest difference from Hawaii and Alabama would probably be there's no beaches, But other than that, I mean, the people are very nice. People are very religious. And, there's football, too. So, I mean, how much better could it get?
Next question right over here. Stay on our left.
For Tua as well, Pat Forty from Yahoo Sports. Where does your poise come from to allow you to come into a situation like this tonight and perform the way you did?
I would say my poise comes from my faith. Just being able to come on to the sideline every time after I go into a drive. I just pray for peace, I just pray asking God, let your will be done in me, and, the rest will follow. And that's the best way I could explain it. Before I go in, into a drive, I mean, I pray a little bit, say my prayers, and, we do it. And when we come off the field, say a little prayer, just to keep me calm, and we go from there.
Right here in the middle.
This one's for Tua, too. Tua, a couple years ago, Marcus became the superstar of college football and really put Hawaii on the map in terms of skill players. And I know you were hailed as the next Marcus. Did you hear from him today? And then I see you up there with your Hawaii lei. What does it mean for your state and for Polynesian people?
I think this is very big for our state. For us kids back home, making our state proud is the biggest thing, and to be able to do this on a national level and a big stage is just a great opportunity. But You know, it's just great. It's just great exposure for us as well. You know, our people, and I mean, I just thank God that I'm here. I heard nothing from Marcus before this. I don't want to check my phone right now. You know, I just want to see my family and just enjoy this just enjoy this win with my team.
Go right over here on the aisle.
WHEP Sports, Radio Baldwin, Foley, Alabama. This is for Da'Ron and Tua. Da'Ron, you had 2 MVP performances. Why do you think you played so well 2 successive games? And for Tua, did you have a special relationship with Devontae? You had that pirouette movement against Vanderbilt, and now the winning touchdown to win the national championship.
I just think I just wanted to go out there and just give it my all and just leave it all on the field. And no matter what happened in the outcome of the game, I just knew I gave everything. And I think I did that both games. And it just my dreams came true. So.
You know, for me, I would say I haven't only built a good relationship with Devontae. I mean, I think that goes for all our skills. You know, throughout practices, I mean, we get the opportunity to throw it to everybody, you know, and when things aren't going right in practice, you know, we come, we talk about it on the sideline while the ones are in, you know, just try to change things up sometimes. And I think that's the best way to explain it, you know, creating our bonds, just being able to come on the sideline, talk to each other about what we could have done better on that play, and we go from there.
Right over here on our right-hand side in the middle.
Steve Moulton again from 97.7 The Zone in Huntsville. Da'Ron, Coach Saban mentioned it, the changeover on defense, and Anthony Jennings injured, Sean Dion injured. I mean, we could go through the injuries, but tell me about the process of adapting on the defensive side of the football this year.
I think we just try to do a good job of everybody just knowing what to do. All the young guys buying in and focusing on the playbook, and when the name is called, just not being nervous or anything, just being able to play ball and just execute the game plan.
Go in the back on the riser.
Yeah, this is Gary McKillips from AP Radio. This is for Da'Ron. What were you thinking at halftime, and maybe what did your coach have to say to get you guys going again?
I definitely thought we weren't executing as a team, and I think we went in and Coach Saban told us that, and told us we needed to tighten things up, and I guess the team heard Coach, and we came out and tried to play our best ball, and everybody gave it their all to the last minute.
Back to left-hand side.
This question is for Da'Ron and Nick. Every year, almost every year, you guys have replaced defensive coordinators. How have you kept the program or the defense at a high level, and has it gotten increasingly difficult over the last couple of years?
Well, we've been very fortunate all the time we've been in Alabama and the time we've been at LSU. We've always played the same system on defense, but we've always been able to hire somebody who knew the system, who had been in the system before. Kirby had been in it before. Will Muschamp learned it, and Jeremy Pruitt had been in it before. So it was an easy transition for them to continue to implement the same thing for the players. You know, we'll have to look at what we want to do to try to get the best coaches in there to help our players, develop our players, you know, with this next group. But we have some good coaches on our staff.
Take our next question over here to the left standing.
Nick, as a coach, how do you balance fostering competition in the same position group with making sure everybody's working toward the same, you know, kind of broader team goals? I'm talking obviously about quarterback.
Well, I think we spend a lot of time talking to guys about what are your goals, what are your aspirations, what do you want to accomplish, and what you want to do. And I obviously like it when one of these guys tell me that they want to play in the NFL someday and they want to graduate from college. So then every time they don't do what they're supposed to do or they're not accountable, whether it's in school as a person or as a player, I just can ask, how is this behavior going to help you get where you want to go? So it is about the individual. It is about the individual and their goals and aspirations for what they want to accomplish, but it's also having respect for the principles and values of the team. and trusting and respecting those as well as their teammates, and not putting those goals and aspirations ahead of what's best for the team so that they buy into doing their job. So I just never want any one of our players to ever give any reason to use the word but after they describe them. You know, there was one word that the two most compelling words in a draft in my 8 years in the NFL, in a draft report when he read a player, was always and but. Because when they read a good player and they said and, he's a good person, he graduated from school, he was loved by his teammates, he was a captain of the team. But if they read the same player and they said but, got a domestic violence charge against him, he's got 5 positive marijuana tests. I mean, which guy you want to put on your team? So why would anybody give anybody a reason to say but about what they do? And that's what we try to get our players to do so that they create value for themselves and their future.
Got 2 more. We'll start right here.
Thomas Scott, Selma Times-Journal. Coach Saban, you mentioned the importance of third down conversions in your opening statement. This is for you and Da'Ron. Tell me a little bit about what was difficult about stopping Georgia in the first half, and then how you were able to shut them down on their ensuing drives and forcing them to punt closer towards the fourth quarter.
Well, I think Georgia did a really good job because there were 3 occasions where we played split safety coverage, which denies the ball deep in longer yardage situations, 3rd and 20, 3rd and 11, and I think 3rd and 9 maybe, and they ran draw plays. And Sony Michel made people miss and made a first down. So then we started playing more man-to-man and middle-of-the-field coverage, and, you know, Jake Fromm, that guy, he knows where to go with the ball. And they were running what we call chop routes, was inside fade to the slot receiver. That's what they hit for 80-yard touchdown to Hardeman. And so we just had to kept trying to adapt and adjust. And then when they got a hit in the game, we started playing a little more man-to-man, and they actually were running the ball a little bit more, which, you know, we got off the field on several 3rd downs because we were playing pretty good coverage.
My thing was just, like I said earlier, the way we executed. And Coach Saban and Coach Pruitt always talk about just farm your own land and do your job. And I think we were just out there trying to make plays instead of focusing on what we had to do as a defense to be successful. But I think we settled down and just got back to playing good Bama defense.
And our last question, Nancy.
Was there a time, or can you think of a particular time, whether it was during spring practice or even during the season, that you kind of looked at Tua, or that he did something and you thought he's as good as advertised, or maybe even better?
No, I think all year long we had lots of confidence in Tua, and we played him so that if this situation occurred, that he would be ready to play. And I know that he was never in a situation where we were behind and had to come back in a game, but the game experience, the confidence, managing the team, he does a really good job in practice. Jalen was sick a couple days before the Clemson game, and, you know, the players really respond well to him. He's a good leader. He's very well liked by his teammates, and he's got a very positive, upbeat attitude that affects other people around him in a very positive way. So I think all those things are really positive attributes for a quarterback, and I have total confidence in him. But I also think that I should say that we would not be here in this championship game if it wasn't for some of the very good plays that Jalen Hurts made throughout the course of the year. All right, we have 2 guys that we have really good confidence in, and they have really tremendous respect for each other, and they help each other. So that's something that's pretty unique on our team.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. That concludes today's news conference.